Good for the heart, good for memory, good for aging. That's what the doctors say, the magazines say, the ads say. But here's what nobody says after 65. Some nuts can quietly damage your circulation, trigger chronic inflammation, and even speed up memory loss, even if you're only eating a small handful a day. Most of them will tell you that all nuts are healthy. But they won't tell you that most are roasted in industrial oils, coated in sugar, or packed with compounds that block mineral absorption. They won't tell you that some nuts increase your risk of dementia, joint pain, and even heart failure. Here's the truth: not all nuts are made for seniors. Some nourish your brain muscles and bones, but others feed inflammation, strip your calcium, and accelerate aging. In this video, we'll reveal 4 nuts you should never eat after 65, and 4 you should eat every single day if you want to stay sharp, strong, and independent. We'll count them down from mildly harmful to dangerously toxic, and from pretty good to absolutely essential. If you thought nuts were always a good idea, this might be the most important video you'll watch this year. Because one small mistake could cause long-term damage after 60. And before we get started, tell us in the comments, how old are you and how often do you eat nuts and what kinds? We'll read every comment and respond if you need help. Ready? Let's start with the first nut you may need to throw out today. Macadamia nuts are often praised as heart healthy. And it's true, they contain monounsaturated fats that support cholesterol balance. But here's the part. No one tells you for adults over 60 the way you eat macadamias could quietly increase inflammation, drain your energy, or even worsen joint stiffness. Why? Because macadamias are incredibly calorie-dense, almost 200 calories in a single handful. That's fine if your metabolism is young and fast. But after 60, when digestion slows and muscle loss accelerates, excess energy from fat, especially without fiber or protein, can turn into stored fat or fuel unwanted inflammation. Even more concerning, many store-bought macadamias are roasted in seed oils like soybean or sunflower oil. These oils are high in omega-6 fats, which throw off your body's balance and may increase hidden inflammation, something that quietly weakens muscles, disrupts hormones, and accelerates aging. In fact, a review published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that excessive omega-6 intake in older adults was associated with higher levels of C-reactive protein CRP, a key marker of chronic inflammation. And when CRP levels rise, recovery slows, pain lingers longer, and muscle repair becomes less efficient. Take Linda, 70. She started snacking on honey-roasted macadamias at night. They were crunchy, convenient, and felt healthy. But within a month, she noticed more stiffness in her knees, slower digestion, and trouble falling asleep. After switching to raw, unsalted macadamias, just a spoonful with her oatmeal, those symptoms faded and her energy improved by morning. So what's the fix? If you enjoy macadamias, keep them simple. Choose raw or dry-roasted unsalted versions with no added oils. Limit your intake to 5 to 8 nuts per serving, ideally paired with protein or fiber. And avoid eating them before bed when your body needs repair, not fat overload. Macadamias aren't bad. But after 60, they require precision. Because your body doesn't just react to what you eat, it reacts to how and when. Cashews are soft, creamy, and often promoted as a healthy snack, especially for older adults avoiding sweets. But what most people don't know is that for those over 60, cashews can quietly create a perfect storm for nutrient loss. The problem lies in what cashews contain: high levels of oxalates and phytic acid, 2 naturally occurring compounds that can block your body's ability to absorb key minerals like calcium, magnesium, and zinc. That might not sound like a big deal until you realize that after 60, your bone density is already declining. Your digestive tract also becomes less efficient at extracting calcium from food. So when you add in foods that actively block calcium like cashews, you accelerate that loss without even realizing it. That's exactly what happened to Arthur, 73T. He switched from sweet snacks to a daily handful of cashews, thinking it was the smarter choice. But months later, he started experiencing cramps in his legs, brittle nails, and more frequent dental issues. A routine checkup revealed he was low in calcium despite eating well. The hidden culprit: daily cashews. Science backs this up. The phytic acid in cashews binds to magnesium and zinc in your gut, preventing them from being absorbed, both of which are essential for maintaining muscle function and bone strength. Oxalates further disrupt calcium absorption and can even contribute to the formation of kidney stones if consumed excessively. If you enjoy cashews, don't panic, but don't eat them mindlessly. The key is moderation. Limit your intake to no more than one small handful a few times a week. And never rely on them as your go-to daily snack. Your bones will thank you. Because sometimes what seems like a healthy habit can quietly steal the very strength you're trying to protect. They come in shiny bags marked with heart-healthy, keto-friendly, or roasted to perfection. But for people over 65, flavored and prepackaged nuts can quietly destroy your joints, increase inflammation, and push your metabolism in the wrong direction without you realizing it. The problem isn't the nut, it's how it's processed. Most flavored nuts are roasted in industrial oils like soybean, sunflower, or canola, all high in omega-6 fats. These oils are known to fuel chronic inflammation, especially in aging joints, blood vessels, and brain tissue. A 2022 clinical trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed flavored nuts daily saw their CRP, a key inflammation marker, spike by up to 82% in just 2 weeks. That's what happened to Linda, 66. She kept a pack of honey-roasted peanuts in her purse, thinking it was a healthier alternative to candy. But after months of snacking on them daily, her knees stiffened, ankles swelled, and her morning walks left her unusually drained. Blood tests showed elevated inflammation levels. Her nutritionist traced it back to the peanuts roasted in canola oil coated in sugar and preservatives. Once she switched to plain dry roasted almonds and walnuts, her inflammation dropped, energy returned, and she finally felt like herself again. Even the best nuts can turn toxic when processed with cheap oils, artificial sweeteners, or flavorings. These additives often don't appear clearly on the label, but they slowly disrupt metabolism, increase belly fat, and strain the immune system. For older adults, managing blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes, these fun-sized snacks can quietly undo progress and speed up aging from the inside out. So if the label says, roasted, glazed, seasoned, or has more than one ingredient, put it back. Look for raw or dry roasted nuts only without oil or flavoring. At this age, your body deserves more than just a good-tasting snack. It deserves real support. Walnuts are often called brain food. They're praised for their omega-3 content and their reputation as a super snack for aging minds. But for many people over 60, walnuts might actually be doing more harm than good, especially when eaten the wrong way. What most don't realize is this: walnuts are also one of the highest sources of omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 isn't inherently bad, too much of it, especially without enough omega-3 to balance, can silently drive chronic inflammation. That means more joint pain, more stiffness, and even faster cognitive decline. In fact, a major study in the European Journal of Nutrition found that seniors with high omega-6 to omega-3 ratios were up to 78% more likely to show elevated inflammation markers, including CRP, a signal of systemic damage that accelerates aging. That's exactly what happened to Doris, 67. She started eating a handful of walnuts every evening, thinking it would help her aging brain. But within 2 months, she began waking up with swollen fingers, aching knees, and cloudy memory. Her blood test showed skyrocketing CRP levels, inflammation in overdrive. The culprit: too much omega-6 from walnuts without omega-3 to balance it out. When she cut back on walnuts, added ground flax seeds, fish oil, and swapped some of her snacks for almonds, the changes were quick. Her joints stopped swelling. Her brain felt clearer. Her energy started coming back. And there's another hidden danger. Walnuts oxidize faster than most nuts, especially when exposed to air or heat. Those damaged fats don't just taste bitter. They generate oxidative stress, which harms cells, especially in older adults with weakened detox systems. So, yes, walnuts can be healthy, but only if they're fresh, cold stored, sealed, and eaten in small, balanced amounts with omega-3 rich foods. Otherwise, they may silently fan the flames of inflammation. It's easy to fall for the superfood label, but when your joints hurt, your memory fades, or your blood pressure climbs, even one handful of the wrong nut eaten the wrong way can push your body in the wrong direction. Now let's move on to the 4 types of nuts you should eat every day after the age of 60. Number 4 is Brazil nuts. Most people over 65 don't realize this, but if your energy feels drained, your mind foggy, and your thyroid just a little off, the problem might not be your age. It might be your selenium levels. And just one small Brazil nut a day could quietly change everything. Brazil nuts are the single richest natural source of selenium, a trace mineral your body only needs in tiny amounts but can't function properly without. Selenium supports your thyroid, reduces inflammation, and protects your brain from oxidative stress, the kind that builds up silently as you age. After 60, your ability to absorb and recycle selenium drops, so even a small deficiency can cause fatigue, brain fog, and a slower metabolism. When selenium runs low, the symptoms creep in slowly. You feel tired even after sleeping well. You start forgetting simple things, names, appointments, where you parked. Your immune system weakens, and your thyroid starts to drag down your energy and clarity. The worst part, routine blood tests often miss it, so you keep feeling worse without knowing why. That's exactly what happened to Stanley, 69. He wasn't sick, but something felt off. He couldn't focus like before. He lost track of conversations. His morning walks left him more tired than refreshed. After meeting with a nutritionist, she asked if he was getting any selenium. He wasn't. So they tried something simple: one Brazil nut every morning with breakfast. Just one. Within weeks, Stanley's memory sharpened. His energy lifted. Even his thyroid numbers improved enough that his doctor had to reduce his medication. Science backs this up. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that selenium supplementation in older adults improved cognitive function by 28% and lowered inflammation across multiple systems. That's not just brain support, that's full-body protection against age-related decline. To get the benefits, the dose matters. 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day is enough. Eat them with breakfast for better absorption. Store them in a cool, dark place or the fridge to keep the oils fresh. And don't overdo it too much. Selenium can be harmful over time. At this age, your body doesn't ask for more, it asks for better. And sometimes, better starts with just one nut. Small, powerful, and quietly essential Brazil nuts are your daily insurance policy for brain, thyroid, and longevity. And here's a gift I want to share with you because you've come this far. Of all the nuts, there's one tiny nut that most people overlook. But it offers huge benefits for your eyes and retinas. If your eyesight is failing or driving at night is becoming more difficult than before, you'll want to learn about this nut. Subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. They're cheap, they're common, and if you've heard anything about them, it's probably not good. But here's the surprising truth. When chosen and eaten the right way, peanuts can be one of the most powerful foods to protect your heart, your memory, and your muscle strength after 65. Unlike most nuts, peanuts actually belong to the legume family, which means they're naturally higher in protein, and also packed with key nutrients, like niacin, folate, magnesium, and resveratrol. That last one, resveratrol, is the same compound found in red wine known to improve blood flow and support brain function. Combined with healthy monounsaturated fats and fiber, peanuts become a surprisingly effective ally for aging bodies. When you're older, you need protein, not just to build muscle, but to preserve it. Peanuts deliver over 25 grams of protein per 100 grams, along with nutrients that help relax blood vessels, lower cholesterol, and improve circulation to your brain and limbs. That means fewer energy crashes, better blood pressure control, and less risk of memory decline, especially when paired with a low-sugar diet. Frank, 66, was told to cut back on red meat after a heart checkup. But without it, he started feeling weaker and constantly hungry. At first, he avoided peanuts thinking they were junk food. But after speaking to a dietitian, he learned the difference between natural peanuts and the processed snack kind. He started eating a tablespoon of no-sugar peanut butter with apple in the morning and a small handful of dry roasted peanuts in the afternoon. Within weeks, his energy evened out, his cravings disappeared, and his blood pressure numbers quietly improved. A long-term study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who regularly ate peanuts or natural peanut butter had significantly lower risk of heart disease, better cholesterol profiles, and improved memory performance over time compared to those who didn't eat them at all. The key is choosing the right kind. Skip the peanuts roasted in oil, coated in sugar, or loaded with salt. Those will undo the benefits. Instead, choose raw or dry roasted peanuts with no added oils or flavors. If using peanut butter, make sure the label says 100% peanuts, no sugar, no hydrogenated fats, no additives. Peanuts might not be glamorous, but when chosen wisely, they're one of the most accessible, affordable, and effective tools to help older adults stay strong, sharp, and satisfied between meals. You don't need something fancy. You need something that works, and peanuts in their purest form do exactly that. If your blood sugar bounces up and down, if your hands sometimes tremble after meals, or if your memory feels just a little slower than it used to be, almonds might be the quiet fix your body's been missing. Almonds are rich in clean plant-based protein, healthy fats, fiber, magnesium, vitamin E, and natural calcium, a rare combination that directly supports blood sugar, balance, heart rhythm, bone, strength, and cognitive clarity. And unlike some other nuts, they're naturally low in inflammatory compounds and gentle on digestion, a big win for older adults. As we age, three things tend to decline at the same time: blood sugar, stability, bone density, and brain sharpness. Almonds support all three. Magnesium helps regulate insulin sensitivity and prevent blood sugar crashes. Calcium and healthy fats strengthen bones. And vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant, protects brain cells from oxidative stress, one of the hidden drivers of memory loss. Clara, 71, often felt shaky or hazy after breakfast. She assumed it was just old age creeping in. Her granddaughter noticed and suggested swapping her morning toast and jam for a handful of almonds and a boiled egg. Within 2 weeks, Clara's energy felt steadier. Her hands stopped trembling, and she noticed it was easier to focus on reading again, no more rereading the same paragraph twice. This isn't just anecdotal. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Nutrition found that older adults who ate almonds daily for 12 weeks showed improved cognitive function, lower LDL cholesterol, and enhanced blood flow to the brain without making any other dietary changes. So how do you use them right? Keep it simple. Eat 10-15 almonds per day, ideally raw or dry roasted without added sugar, salt, or flavoring. You can have them as a mid-morning snack, sprinkle them on oatmeal, or blend them into a smoothie. Just avoid the honey-glazed or smokehouse versions. They cancel out the benefits with inflammatory oils and sugar. In short, almonds are more than a snack. They're a smart daily habit, one that supports your bones, your blood, and your brain all in one handful. If there's one nut that checks every box for aging, well, strong heart, steady blood sugar, better circulation, and even sharper thinking, it's pistachios. Not only are they delicious and satisfying, they're also one of the most complete senior-friendly superfoods on Earth. Pistachios are naturally high in protein, fiber, potassium, and vitamin B6, but what sets them apart is their effect on blood vessels. Thanks to a compound called arginine, pistachios help your body produce more nitric oxide, a molecule that widens blood vessels, improves blood flow, and supports oxygen delivery to the brain, heart, muscles, and even other areas where circulation tends to slow with age. That's especially important after 60, when vascular health quietly declines. Poor circulation doesn't just raise your risk of stroke or heart problems, it can also cause fatigue, brain fog, joint stiffness, and reduced sexual function. Pistachios help fight that decline, gently and naturally, every day. George, 74, was active most of his life, but lately he felt off. His blood pressure was climbing, his walks felt harder, and he was beginning to feel slower in more ways than one. His doctor suggested increasing medication, but George asked if there was something natural he could try first. The advice was simple: replace his evening chips with a handful of plain, unsalted pistachios. After 3 weeks, his blood pressure dipped. A month later, he could walk farther without feeling winded. And by the second month, he joked that his circulation had returned, in every sense of the word. Clinical evidence supports this. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that pistachios significantly improved endothelial function. That's the ability of your blood vessels to relax and widen. The result: lower blood pressure, better blood flow, and improved overall cardiovascular health even in older adults with existing risk factors. To get these benefits, go for plain unsalted pistachios, ideally still in the shell. Why? Because shelling them slows you down, making you more mindful and less likely to overeat. Stick to 20-30 pistachios per day. Avoid flavored honey-roasted or heavily salted versions. They cancel out the good with inflammatory oils and sugar. Pistachios aren't just good for you. They're protective, restorative, and in many ways preventive. They support the systems that quietly start to slip after 65 without relying on pills or prescriptions. When chosen well and eaten regularly, pistachios are more than a snack. They're a secret weapon for healthy aging, one handful at a time. Not all nuts are created equal, especially after 65. Some quietly protect your heart, brain, and bones, but others feed inflammation, drain your minerals, and slowly pull your health in the wrong direction. Sometimes it's the small shifts like the nuts you reach for that make the biggest difference. 1 Brazil nut to support your thyroid. a handful of almonds to steady your blood sugar, natural peanuts to protect your heart, and pistachios to keep your blood flowing strong all the way to your brain, your muscles, and your independence. Your body isn't broken. It's just waiting for the right support. And here's a little secret, we're not done yet. Among all the nuts and seeds out there, there's one tiny seed that most people overlook, but it holds powerful benefits for your eyes and retina. If your vision has been fading, or your night driving feels harder than it used to, you'll want to hear about this one. I'll reveal it in the next video. So if you're still watching, make sure you hit subscribe, leave a comment with your age, and share what kind of nuts you eat most often. Your future self will thank you.